Good afternoon. It's another lovely sunny day. Actually, it's quite warm. I'm actually wearing a t-shirt today here in eastern North Carolina. And I just wanted to sort of do a walk around, talk about the garden today. I do have plenty of work to do, but I don't think you guys want to see me putting away 60 bags of mulch and compost. No one wants to see that. It's boring. But I got more mulch for the front garden beds that I'm revamping, updating, cleaning up, preparing for spring. I got some compost. Some of that will go into the raised beds here. A lot of these beds need to be reworked and prepped for the spring planting. I'll do a whole separate video on that soon, probably in the next week or two. Some of this bed here with the carrots, that has been a phenomenal failure. I don't know why. These little bit of carrots that you see here, they've been in the bed since last fall. I'll rip them out, I'll clean up the bed, prep it. I have another bed here, right here, this round bed. That's going to be used for herbs. I'll be planting that up probably in the next month and a half or so. I kind of want to wait till the real threat of frost is gone. The Farmer's Almanac says that the last of the frost in this area should be gone about April 1st, thereabouts. April 1st, April 8th, something like that. Last year I think it was around the 15th, and sure enough we had a freeze on the 14th, which knocked back a lot of my plants because I thought we were done with the whole frost thing, but I was wrong. So we're sort of in a false spring mood here. At least that's what I'm going to call it. If you're from the south, if you're from the area, I'm actually going to put down the camera here. It's getting a little heavy. If you're from the south, or if you're from a warmer climate like growing zone 8, 8A, 8B, even 7B. I'm new to this. This is all new to me, even though I've been here a year. I'm still acclimating. And last year I got, towards, I think it was mid to late March, I was like, we're not gonna get another freeze, it's too warm out. And then we wound up getting a freeze, and it's just an overnight thing. But those couple of hours of freeze that you may get in, for me around here, it's usually super early morning between like 5 and 6. It can really set your plants back, burn a lot of tender growth on plants. So, but if you're from the south, if you're from down here, then let me know if again, you're probably more experienced than I am, knowing that we're still in February, we still get cold mornings, cold nights. Like I said, I'm still learning and figuring it all out. But let me show you some of the other stuff going around here. So behind me right there, that's the pad that hopefully I will be building my greenhouse on very shortly. It has shipped. I think it's supposed to arrive on or around the 24th. I'll probably start building it shortly thereafter because I want to get a jump on things. I'd like to get it up by no later than mid-March. So maybe I can start growing some seedlings in there before everything gets too warm, and then it won't be used throughout the summer because it's just going to be too hot. I think even with shade cloth, but I'll learn these things. I'll figure it all out. I am getting 2 roof vents in it and a lower vent in the wall to allow breeze air in and then force the hot air out, yada yada yada. If you have a greenhouse, you probably know a lot of this stuff. Back here I finished the fence line along the back. I still have to install the gates. That'll be back over here. I was going to do 1 big gate, now I think I'm going to do 2 because it's about a 6-foot span. So that'll be coming up. I can't see into the I can see the lens, but I can't see into the viewfinder there because it's messed up. But anyways, so hopefully you can see that I've got the shoveled out the area here, and I've got the back area open. I still have to obviously get rid of all these wood chips, which I'll work on over the course of the year. I've been making progress slowly but surely. I didn't talk about this bed. So here we have some rosemary. They're doing well. They look a little raggedy because it's winter, but I'm going to get them planted up into the beds or out onto the property at some point. I'm thinking one of them I might plant out in the property and let it grow into like a hedge, like a shrubbery kind of thing. And that's if that variety does. Not every variety of rosemary I don't believe does, but if you know different or think different, please leave a comment below. I'm always open to suggestions, ideas, that kind of thing. My boxwood cuttings, most of them are doing pretty well, so hopefully I'll be planting those out Oh, I don't know. Maybe later in the fall. I don't know. We'll have to see how well they grow. Maybe next year. A lot of those 60 bags that I got, that's going to go right here along the fence line. My staging area that I put together last year. I still have plenty of bags of black cow left over. It's like a cow manure compost thing. It's very nice. These beds over here, these are, I covered them up last year because they were weedy, and those are the in-ground raised beds, sort of the no-dig thing. I'll probably top them off with more compost, and I'll be planting into them probably end of April maybe. We'll have to see. You want the ground temperatures to warm up, from my understanding. And hold on, I'm going to put the camera down again. I don't know how a lot of these vloggers do it, because even the camera weighs next to nothing, but holding it extended out for a period of time, shoulder and arm starts to hurt. The rose garden is coming along. It's going to continue to grow. It's all the way down there. You could see the only point there. All the way down there, you see the black plastic. The weed cloth, that will be coming up hopefully, let's see, April, May, I don't know, soon. Soon. I'm going to be, I think I have one rose coming from David Austin. That's going to be a shrub rose, and another that's going to be a climber. Now I'll be getting an arbor for the climber. I want to do a rose tunnel, but again, I'm in sort of Hurricane Alley, and the property tends to flood it where it's going to be. Actually, that's where the tunnel's going to be, would be. Doesn't flood that bad. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I should do a tunnel or just an arbor. Either way, there's going to be an archway leading into the garden. So let me know your thoughts and opinions. Should I go with a tunnel? Should I do the whole tunnel thing? Go with a rose tunnel? Now, if I do the rose tunnel, there's going to be a lot of exposed frame for quite a few years. I'm only getting one climbing rose this year, and then I may propagate off of that. Take cuttings from that, depending on how it grows. I've never grown climbing roses before. I think I had a rambler, or was it a climbing rose? I can't remember. I had something in New York, but it never grew that fast, so I don't know. Then again, it was something I picked up at Home Depot. Might have been the type of the variety, the breed. I don't know. I'm super novice, super noob. But let me know below. Should I just go with an arbor leading into the rose garden, or should I do a tunnel and just develop it over time? Let me know your thoughts on that. Let's take a look at some of the other damage I've done here in the rose garden recently. So hopefully you can see this. Back along here, I've been putting down the wood chips, and what I have to do soon, but what I want to do is stake out a line of where the bed is going to be, and I still haven't I got to put the drawings up for the rose garden, the vegetable garden, all that good stuff on the website. I'm working on an updated 2022 aerial drawing sort of thing, overhead drawing. Hopefully I'll have that up by the time you see this video, maybe. I'm working on it. I almost have it finished, so hopefully that drawing will be up soon. I want to get a drawing up, the rose garden drawing up soon. I want to get the vegetable garden drawing up, the flower garden drawing I want to get up. This way you guys have a feeling, or can see where I am headed along. But I want to put out, basically mark out the borders, where the border is going to be, so I can take a lot of those wood chips that you just saw and I can fill in. And again, the wood chips will help raise the ground up, as it were, because this area tends to, when we get super heavy rains and tends to flood a little. So I want to start raising it up, and instead of buying 50 tons of dirt to raise it up, I'm going to use what I have. The wood chips will rot down. The grass clippings I put on top will rot down with the wood chips. I may take old used compost and throw that on top, and eventually it'll all turn into, hopefully, what I'm hoping is a nice planting medium in maybe 3 years. Again, this back area and the area over there won't be planted out for quite a while. Marine Corps Harrier flying over. Anyway, so this is the other side of the rose garden. This eventually will be something here, an archway maybe. I don't think I'm going to do a fence, not a fence, a gate, because there's only going to be a gate on the vegetable garden side, and there'll be no gate on the front. So I don't think I'm going to do a gate here. I'm sorry if I'm shaking the camera too much. So I don't think I'm going to do a gate here. This is just, these posts are marking the entrance to what hopefully will be in time the natural wild garden. Let me take you over there. So back in this space here, you can see there's a large pine tree behind me. I may trim that up a bit more, some of the undergrowth, but I'm not going to get too crazy about it. Where you guys are, that's going to be a head, tall hedges for the rose garden, and that hopefully will provide a lot of shade for this area. So I'll then plant it out. I'll do a path, little curvy path thing through here, and I want to plant out anything natural that will grow here that the deer won't eat. I'd love to do just a ton of hostas over time. And again, this area won't be developed for probably another 5 years. But I want to try to grow out some natural items here that, again, the deer won't eat. And then, it'll just be a natural garden. Again, pathways through it. But if I can have less lawn to mow. So, I have time to worry about this. The rose garden needs to get priority, and the flower garden and the orchard. Those are the focused areas in the near future. And so let me walk you around to another idea that is for future development. So now if we're walking back towards the other end of the property, back over here is the orchard area. And I've already planted the one apple tree. I have to get the other apple tree that I have planted out soon. I don't think there's any other trees that I plan on planting, but you never know what you're going to find in a nursery, right? So, well, then back over this way towards the end of the property, I have this space. And this space is, hopefully I'm not showing too much of my neighbor's house. I want to give them privacy. But this space I didn't really know what to do with. Well, now I've got an idea. So I'm going to trim back on this side, obviously, and this side, the wax myrtle. And what I'm going to do is, I'm just, for the near future, I'm going to try to create basically a straight line hedgerow, as it were. And I'm going to leave the area grass. And then down the road, hopefully, maybe, if there are funds available, what I'd like to do is create little cement pads, and on each cement pad maybe put large urn vessels that I can plant shrubs into. Now this area does flood. So, and when I mean flood, I mean 2 to 3 inches of water. And that's again why I want to do like the cement pads with the urn vessels on top of them with maybe like a boxwood inside. So this area I'll call the Topiary Garden. I can get maybe creative and do some swirly things or something. But I think the neighbor would appreciate that, and it'll be minimal maintenance for me long term. This wax myrtle right here, I gotta really trim back because this is the end of the grand walkway, and there's the post that denotes the one side. The other side will be 20 feet in there, so I have to really cut this back. I'll probably want to put in 2 permanent posts, and then I'll put a gate in, and that's purely going to be decorative. It's purely just going to be for decoration, and this way it'll look nice. You can see back there I got my winterberry. It's starting to bud up now, and I have I believe that's a no, that's my Christmas holly. That's my Nellie Stevens holly. That's the borderline between me and my neighbor's property over there. Nobody lives there yet, but let me show you another cool thing I'm doing in the orchard. Hopefully you can see these stakes here behind me, and you can see this upturned thing. So this is where I had a large clump of trees and all the undergrowth that was associated with it, the wax myrtle and all the other scrub stuff that was there. And obviously that was all taken out last year. This year though, because it's in the orchard, and the orchard is going to be minimal maintenance, basically I'm just going to mow the lawn around the trees kind of thing. That's my long-term sort of plan and goal for that. There'll be some hedging around. Again, you're going to have the row of hedging that I'm putting in here, the trees and whatnot. And then I'm going to do a row of, I believe it's going to be sunshine or golden ticket privet, which is non-invasive. And that will be the border between the grand walkway and the orchard. It's a little hard to figure it out, but in my mind's eye and on the drawing, it all looks pretty, and it'll come to fruition in time, hopefully. But where these stakes denote, I turned around and put down a bunch of poppy seeds. So hopefully in springtime, they all pop up with poppies, and there'll be a beautiful sea of red and orange right here in the middle of nothing. So it'll be interesting to see if they do grow and if they naturalize over time. That'll be really fun to watch. I still have so much work to do, obviously, in the area, but here's the apple tree. The apple tree I planted out. When did I plant that guy out, guys? What was that? December? Early January? Something like that? Yeah, I think I did a video on it, so I think it was early January. I think it was one of my New Year videos. But starting to bud out, and I think it'll really like it here permanently in the ground. Oh, back here, underneath. Now this pine tree sort of denotes the corner of the property, and underneath I took a bunch of those wood chips that I have, and I basically put them under. And what I'd like to do in time is right there, back there, I'd like to put a little bench so that I could sit back here in the shade, maybe in the early morning when the sun comes up over there, and in the summer, and this spot is still cool. I mean, in time, I hope to have this space shaded with more trees, but this is the beginning of it. You know, I put down those wood chips. They'll help suppress a lot of the weeds and whatnot that are back there. Again, this was all that just wax myrtle and scrub and vine and all sorts of garbage, and I've cleared it all out now. So I did leave some of these. I don't know if I'm pointing the right place, but I did put down, left some of these stumps, and they're wax myrtles. They'll grow back, and I'll make a nice little trimmed hedge out of those. I have some these are sunshine privets, and hopefully this year they grow up fast and they provide a nice little hedge over here along the street. And I'll continue taking cuttings or whatever, and I'll run them right down to the telephone pole, and that'll provide a nice boundary layer between me and the street there. Also give the neighbors something a little nicer to look at as opposed to my vast open piece of ground. And maybe it'll deter deer from walking straight through the property. Maybe they'll walk around. I don't know. We'll have to see what the deer do. Deer do what they want to do because they were here before us. So I'm just trying to work with them as opposed to fight with them. So I'm obviously out by the street. So back here, obviously you can see the one big wood pile. I've been trying to also take from that, shrink that down. Nobody likes to see that. And that's in the grand walkway, or what will be the grand walkway one day. And where I'm standing right now, I think I'm going to do another garden, and that'll be developed again in time. These things take time, but it's going to be the grass borders, or grass row, maybe grass rows. I don't know what to call it, but I think I want to do a pathway leading from the grand walkway down towards the street, with grass, tall ornamental grasses growing on either side. Maybe throw some smaller grasses down along the base. Now the regular ground grass, that is a pretty aggressive growing Bermuda crap grass. So it'll be interesting to see, but I think I can plant some ornamentals, and I think they would compete well with the current ground. So in other words, I wouldn't create beds and mulch them and stuff, because it's a lot of maintenance, but I think that the ornamentals could compete, and then therefore all I have to do is basically keep the regular grass trimmed down around them. I don't know, we'll see. It's a space that'll be developed over time, and I may change that as it were. But that's what I'm thinking for between the orchard and the flower garden. Now I'm walking into the area that's going to be the flower garden right now, and well, we're way off. This year I'm going to be starting to develop it more. I have to build the beds for the dahlias, and right now along the street this year, I'm thinking maybe I just may take a shovel, rough up the ground, tear up the ground a bit, put a couple of stakes in, run some string, and drop some Mexican sunflower down into the ground. Nothing fancy. Something I can mow over with the lawnmower in time, but it'll be nice, I think, for the neighbors to see. It'll add some color and maybe help me look at defining the borders of what I want. So, I don't know. I'm figuring this stuff out as I go. I've only been gardening, and I've got for a few years, and I've got big dreams. But I think that's how gardens or things are made. Somebody has to have an idea, a dream, a thought, and then you go from there, right? Let me show you what we have for the flower garden so far. I think we're getting it there. So this is So this 8x8 bed is all I have for the flower garden right now, and I'm thinking about building out that way along the what will be the grand walkway, and at the far end building towards this way this year, and down there closer to the wood pile, that's where I'll put in some beds for the dahlias. So the dahlias will have a permanent home. They'll be in the flower garden, and I can start, sorry, I'm moving the camera, bouncing the camera around a lot, sorry. And I can start building out and making things take shape, as it were. Because it's nice to have things on paper or on the computer screen and you look at it and you go, ooh, oh, but until you actually start building it, and then you can start really realizing the thought process, the dream. I don't know. Again, I'm babbling. I got the front gate to the vegetable garden installed recently. I don't know if I did a video on that. I don't think I did. But I got that installed, so there's the front gate. Let's take a closer look at it. There you go. So there's the front gate to the vegetable garden. This gate is really decorative. It opens and closes. The opening is no longer wide enough for me to get my tractor, my lawnmower in there, my ride-on, so I'll have to mow this year with my hand push mower. But it's again, there's not that much grass in there, so it's not that big of a deal. Again, if we turn, there's the end of the rose garden right there, and the stakes that are over there, if you can see them, they're denoting the entrance to the rose garden. So again, I'm starting to stake out, starting to flesh out, starting to fill in my designs. If you get a lot of wind noise, I apologize. It's a little breezy today. Fill in my designs, and I'm not even sure I'm using the right words. If you can think of better words, please leave a comment below. So let me actually turn the camera around this way. Out there is that patch of the rough ground where the trees were, and you probably can't see those stakes, but that's where I hope to see that little sea of red and orange of the poppies coming up in the springtime. And again, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, hit that bell icon to be notified when I do post up a video. This way you'll see if it does pop up or if it doesn't pop up, and that'll be fun and interesting. Along the front of the vegetable garden this year, I think I'm going to start planting out the boxwoods to start creating the hedge along the front of the fence line, which is something I always wanted to do, but last year I had the dahlias there. So I will hopefully get that started this year, and probably in 10 years I can start trimming them. I don't, maybe sooner, I don't know. Box aren't the fastest growing plants. Oh, one other thing I want to show you guys, actually a couple more things. So let's go take a look at the front pear trees. And here we are at the front pear trees. I have obviously the two of them. I put the rings around them last year, and inside the rings, if I did a video of that, I'm pretty sure I did a video of that. Either way, I planted daffodils. So already you can see the daffodils starting to come up. And again, if you don't follow me on Instagram, give a follow on Instagram. I try to post up pictures there that you won't see here on YouTube. Try to keep the content a little different, but hopefully once those start coming up in the next month or so, and it'll just be a spectacular display right at the base of the pear trees here, and it'll just be absolutely beautiful, which is the goal of any gardeners, to make beautiful things, right? So now we're going to go up to the crater. Now the crater was named by a YouTube viewer and subscriber, and if you know who you are, thank you again for the great name. And it was basically because there was a sort of a hole in the ground around his tree stump. If you haven't seen any of those videos, go back, watch those videos from last year. And I said it was going to be an ever-evolving space, and it was going to constantly be changing. So this year, think I'm going to steal a little bit from Monty Don there. I was just looking at his Instagram recently, and on the back of his pond that he has, he's doing a bog garden. Now, I'm not necessarily going to do a bog garden, at least I don't think so yet, but I think I will fill in some of these spaces in between the roots, and I'm going to start planting into them. Now I'm going to have to plant plants that like really wet soil, wet weather, because the area does get wet and stays wet for longer than normal. But I think along with all the other plantings that I have here, I think hopefully over the course of the year that'll start looking very nice. So again, not much here. It's winter time. A lot of stuff has grown back or died. I do need to trim some stuff up because it will come back. The coreopsis hopefully will come back. The tobacco I know will come back. The grass right there that was standing, 6 foot tall just a few days ago, and I cut it back. That'll reflush. It'll grow back up, which would be nice. And yeah, so I'm hoping that maybe this year I can fill in more plants and just add more color to the crater itself. Maybe start filling in the crater, like I said, or certain areas of the crater, and just add more plants to add more color, and it'll really look spectacular. I think that's going to be about it for today. We're not really doing a tour, but if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, because I will do a tour at some point in, let's see, March, April, May, probably May. I'll probably do a spring tour in May once everything starts really coming to life. All the trees really, start flushing out. Just walked underneath the arbor for the wisteria. The wisteria did really well last year. Put probably about a foot or more of growth on, which is pretty exciting. And I think that'll continue to do its thing. It'll continue to grow. I mean, there's just so much going on. As always, I'm building a garden here in Eastern North Carolina. Growing zone 8A. Right near the coast, which is always good for dodging hurricanes, right? Well, let me put the camera down again. So, sorry, I just put the camera down on a fence post here in the vegetable garden, which again, it's gonna develop and grow, and you have to subscribe. You have to follow along. You have to see where I'm going with all of this. What am I doing? Can I make my dreams come true? Will a hurricane come through, wipe it out? Will the heat wind up giving me a heart attack in the middle of the summer and knocking me out? So follow along, see where I'm going, see how the garden develops and grows. And along the way, hopefully I learned some things. Hopefully, maybe you guys can share some of your ideas, thoughts with me. Again, let me know about that rose. Should I do a rose tunnel, which sounds fabulous, but it's going to take years to develop? Or should I just do a simple arbor leading into the rose garden? I'm kind of on the fence about either or, so let me know what you guys think. And I think that's going to about wrap it up for today. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Seriously, guys, we're almost at 200 subscribers, which for me is phenomenal. I started the channel with, I think, 5. I got up to 50, and I thought that was crazy because who wants to see a Muppet like me yapping to the camera? But apparently some of you do. And there's what, 7.5 billion people on the face of the planet, so I'm sure I can get up to 1 million subscribers in 10, 20 years. But we're almost at 200 now when I last looked, so please tell your friends, families, loved ones, grumpy old guy across the street, I've got this wacky channel. I'm building a garden here in Eastern North Carolina, growing zone 8A. Yeah, I think that's going to do it for today. I'm going to catch you on the next one. Bye-bye.